Hi there. This is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about PEMF and healing wounds twice as fast. PEMF, what does that stand for? Pulsed electromagnetic radiation or field. Magnetism. Now it's clear that there are many animals that can read the magnetic fields of planet Earth. Bird migration is probably directed by it. Bats clearly know about it. There's some evidence that maybe dogs actually poop based on the magnetic field, and the majority of the time they'll face north-south instead of other ways. So we watch our dog and think about that. But it didn't gain much muster because all the research on PEMF was done behind the Iron Curtain prior to the fall of the Berlin Wall, until we came along with wounds that wouldn't heal, and some orthopods started getting onto it and putting it around wounds. And there's pretty dramatic research, for example, in rabbits. If you take their ulna and take out 1 centimeter of a rabbit's ulna and just excise it, just take it out, and now you have put a cast on the rabbit, and you just let the normal rabbit, the control group, heal naturally and fill in the bone, and then another group of rabbits with PEMF on their bone. The PEMF, the bone's healed in 6 weeks, whereas the control group, there's virtually no healing even started at 6 weeks. So there's animal models and research that are pretty good. What does this study show? Well, this week's study we're talking about folks who had diabetic foot ulcers that were non-healing. Do you know there's something like 80,000 leg amputations a year and from diabetic foot ulcers that don't heal? This is not an insignificant problem. It's in the range of a couple % of all of American healthcare costs. And those folks disappear. You don't see them in public anymore because they end up in wheelchairs in nursing homes. And the end of their lives are their feet falling apart from long-term diabetic foot ulcers. So foot ulcers in old people who are diabetic is a huge problem. Guess what happens in this small study where they only got 14 treatments of PEMF? They'd already healed twice as fast. They were starting to heal. Sounds like magic. Well, I fell out of a tree and broke a foot, fractured my calcaneus bone and had to have surgery put back in it. I used my PEMF device for about 3 months, constantly, 24/7. I got myself 9-volt batteries and just kept replacing them, kept the PEMF device. You know, there's little coils you can put around your leg, around your foot, and wrap it with an ACE wrap and keep it there, and you keep changing the battery every 6-8 hours. That's possible to do. In fact, PEMF devices are so effective, they have one on the NASA space station for astronauts when they sprain a back or injure themselves or whatever. And if you type in PEMF and cancer, you'll find some interesting things. In fact, I think there's going to be a flood more research. I wanted to make sure I started this topic going because I think there's something to be made with this. This is a story that's got legs, and we're going to hear more about it, and I want to know it. Now, the chief engineer for the company that sold the PEMF device on the space station went off and made his own company called micro-pulse.com. And you can look that up and buy it. Instead of a $7,000 item, you can buy it for about $450. Now it's affordable. And if you have a wound, if you have an injury, if you have surgery and have a PEMF device, you're going to heal faster. There's something in our genetic code that can read it. We may not consciously be aware of the magnetic fields, but somewhere in our code, there's some consciousness of it. And our cells migrate faster, our healing cells line up faster, and that's all evidence-based. That's not just woo-woo medicine. PEMF devices are here to stay. They are effective, they are cheap, and they have no toxic side effects. You can do this. Dr. John Whitcomb, PEMF devices help your wounds heal twice as fast.